Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Braden, Tim, Second Legacy, you're amazing. And boy, do we have something to show you guys. This is the stuff. The SCOTUS just made an announcement this morning. They have ruled unanimously. Let me say it again, Tim. That means 9-0 against the gun controllers' nefarious acts at the state level to take care of our gun rights once and for all. Yeah, they didn't like this one. Everything that we have right now is for you guys. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to that channel, and turn the notification bell on if you're enjoying the sarcasm and the humor delivered in two-way format. With that said, Tim, the SCOTUS has spoken, my man. The SCOTUS has spoken.
9-0. Oh, the court's horribly unbalanced, Braden.
Oh, it is unbalanced. It is.
We need more justices.
Yeah, that's right.
30
that's
or 40 should do. Yeah.
They should. Just enough. You know what? Actually, hold on. That might be a little extreme. 30 or 40. But let's say we have 9 justices and 6 of them are conservative-ish. We should probably just go ahead and do 13 judges. I think that makes the most sense.
1,776 of them.
Yeah, I see what you did there with the whole. Okay. Maybe that's a bit extreme, but to the point, though,
it looked
Tim,
like the NRA board. Come on.
It would look like that's true. But to Tim's point, and to this point, gun control nightmare fuel has been issued from SCOTUS. Listen to this, Tim. Breaking today out. Earlier today, this probably aired tonight, Supreme Court sides with the NRA in free speech ruling that curbs government pressure campaigns. Now, wasn't that a flowery way to say that one? Yeah. I'm going to walk you through all of this, but bottom line, the NRA just beat back the New York State at the Supreme Court level. Uh-oh.
Oops.
Oopsie-toodles. Yeah. Well, it turns out they got a little kick at their little giddy-up left, huh, Tim? Well.
Yeah. Good to see him back in the fight. Or in the fight.
It's good to see him. It's good to see him. No. Well, and with extremely strange bedfellows, I might add. The ACLU. You don't see the ACLU and the NRA together a lot.
No. And look, a 9-0 decision, the ACLU joining with the NRA. It's raining cats and dogs out there. It's like, I should say cats and dogs are like getting along together and cohabitating. Together, yeah. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Yeah, it's like, this is not normal. But this, we always talk about how we're really kind of winning. It's easy to get sucked into the negativity that we see spewed all over the place and, television, social media and stuff like that. The sky is falling stuff. And one of the reasons we wanted to start Second Legacy is because we looked past all that and actually saw, we have some setbacks, but the vast majority of things happening out there are happening to our favor. Case in point, today's video, 9-0. 9-0. The most liberal of justices just said, NRA is right on this one.
Yeah, right. Like
Davey Hogg has to be like prying the tongue off the roof of his mouth in his stupid grin right now because...
dude, I can't wait.
I know.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the reactions. Well, let me show you here what they said. And speaking of the leftist judges, I'll wait to hear some of these quotes. Again, this is breaking as of about an hour or two from filming, guys. This is a big deal today. The Supreme Court on Thursday unanimously backed the National Rifle Association in a First Amendment ruling that could make it harder for state regulators to pressure advocacy groups, which we know, Tim, New York was all about that life because what did they do from federal to state? They shifted because they were losing federal. So they shifted to state, and now they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. It's not a good last 4 years for SCOTUS. For
this
New
is
York
what we've been warning these morons about this. And thank goodness they don't watch or listen or pay attention to what we say because we've given them pretty good advice. Stop it. Because you're slamming all the doors rapidly closed in your own face here. And so keep doing it, please. I mean, don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake, but it is pretty funny to watch them doing this because like you were just talking about, they were being frustrated at the federal level, so they've all moved their efforts to the state level, but they're moving in such rapid succession, trying to do every crazy thing they can think of under the sun, and the Supreme Court's like, no. It's just like they're getting smacked down at a dizzying pace, and they're slamming their own doors in their own faces in this situation. And it's just funny because if they keep this up for a couple more years, they're really going to have nowhere to turn.
They're going to have nothing left.
All they're going to have is Gavin Newsom's amendment to the Constitution. That's their only option left.
Not the 28th Amendment that has no support even in California or any other states.
I don't even think Gavin would vote for that. Gavster. But yeah.
Oh, Gavster. Well, beautiful people, let me show you what the senior liberal judge on the court said. Again, in a 9-0 decision in favor of the NRA. That's how bad this is, okay? God almighty. Government officials, this is a quote, Government officials cannot attempt to coerce private parties in order to punish or suppress views that the government disfavors. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, the most senior liberal, wrote for the court. Ultimately, the critical takeaway is that the First Amendment prohibits government officials from wielding their power selectively to punish or suppress speech. Does that need to be written?
Well, the leftists always talk about democracy and freedom, and they're trying to preserve it. But right here, folks, one of the most liberal justices on the Supreme Court just said all this nonsense is wildly unconstitutional. Mm-hmm. So the party of democracy and freedom, and if Trump wins, you're going to lose your right. The reality is the people yelling that they're projecting. They're the ones that are trying 100%. To take your freedoms and liberties and protected rights away from you. And as evidence of that, right there in your face.
That's a good way to say it. Well, here, if you guys are not familiar with this case, because we have covered this in the past, here's what they were trying to do that they got smoked on. And you tell me in the comments down there if this sounds nefarious at all, okay? So this is number 13. The NRA claimed that Maria Vullo, whatever, the former superintendent of the New York State Department of Financial Services, not only leaned on insurance companies to part ways with the gun lobby, but threatened enforcement actions against those firms if they failed to comply. That is Stasi crap.
Yep.
I mean,
if we did that, that would be extortion and we'd be sitting in jail.
Dude, it's so insane. To make this into a relative example, this would be like if you had an auto shop. It would be like the governor or mayor of your city telling all the banking institutions that they can't do business with you because they don't like the way you do business. And if those banking institutions supplied you with funds or capital or overhead, then they're going to be punished.
They're going to use state resources to put them out of business.
Exactly. This is some Stasi, East German, like Russian socialist crap. That's what this is.
Which is what they're all in favor of, you know? It just goes back to, like, I always make fun of the word democracy. You have to understand, folks, we don't have a democracy. And they've been saying for years, democracy, democracy, democracy. Well, then a conservative came out and said, yeah, we don't really care about democracy. We're more focused on our constitutional republic. See, they don't like democracy. Democracy. The reason they want democracy, folks, is because 51% gets to do whatever they want. If you have 3 people and 2 vote to rape the third person in a democracy, the third person gets raped. That's how democracies work. That's why we have a constitutional republic, to protect that third person.
Yep. You got 2 wolves and 1 sheep voting on what's for dinner. That's exactly what it is.
Maybe that's a better way of saying it so we don't trip the algorithms, but you know.
Well, you gotta throw the word grape out there every once in a while, make sure we're alive.
Grape. Don't you mean rape? No, there's a whole bunch of them.
Nope,
anyway, so
grape. It's a bunch of cluster. Yep. Well,
anyway,
I got to show you something. So you got to appreciate the way that CNN, which would definitely be leftist state media, how they couch things like this, because there's really 2 responses that they typically go for, Tim, and you and I have covered this multiple times. They're either going to go hardcore against the right, or if there is a ruling that's against the left, they're going to try to soften it and dampen it, like to make it broad-based, right? So here's what they did. Listen to how they couch this, because this is a massive loss to the left. The right wasn't doing this. The left was, okay? This is what they said. This is 15. The decision will provide some clarity to government regulators, both liberal and conservative, about how far they may go to pressure private companies that do business with controversial advocacy groups. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure the Democrat Party and the infrastructure of the Democrat powers of the state of New York were the ones doing this. It was not conservatives.
There was no conservative involved in this mess. Yeah, but
so
hey, we just want to make sure
that
everybody kind of understands the rules now.
But now we know.
Thank you, Supreme Court.
It makes total sense. And by the way, earlier how you said cats and dogs sleeping together? Listen to this. Conservative Justice Neil Gorsuch and liberal Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson penned 2 separate concurrences in which they said they agreed with the court's decision. What?
What?
Like, how bad do you have to screw up, New York, to get this outcome?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Slow clap for the idiots.
I mean, jeez. It's absolutely insane. In fact, remember, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is the same woman in her confirmation who could not answer what a woman was, who has been on the side of almost every leftist cause on the judicial arguments. This is what she just said. Listen to this. Quote, this is 16. Whether and how government coercion of a third party might violate another party's First Amendment rights will depend on the facts of the case, she wrote. Different circumstances, who is being coerced and to do what and why, may implicate different First Amendment injuries. Okay, that is leftist speak for I don't want to piss off the left, but you can't do this.
Right.
That's all that is.
She can't paint this in a positive light for the leftists.
Right.
I mean, she just betrayed the cause because they don't care about what's right. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about any of that. All they care about is getting what they want. And so the means justify the ends in their minds. And so when they have a defection like this, she might as well have burned a pride flag, because
don't you even question or doubt or joke.
But the inhumanity. She couldn't offend them any more than that. It's like
true. That's true. Well, I have to wrap this up. I got two more. I'm gonna do in quick succession, and then we'll conclude our thoughts here because this is a big deal, guys. All right. So this is 17 and 18 in quick succession, Dr. Slides. While the NRA is more likely to be at the Supreme Court making Second Amendment arguments, it picked up unfamiliar allies with its First Amendment claim. The American Civil Liberties Union, which usually sits opposite the NRA in the debate over guns, agreed to represent the group before the Supreme Court. So I'm just putting that out there. They even lost the ACLU on this one. I mean,
you have to really screw up to get here, folks.
Yes. This is a really big deal. They couldn't even pick off one justice to go, okay, I see your point. I mean, It's so bad. And as always, Tim, we've got to lead with precedents and some other arguments for the Supreme Court because that's how this works, right? The jurisprudence going forward. This is number 18. This is how they argue. The NRA largely relied on a 1963 Supreme Court decision, Bantam Books v. Sullivan, that dealt with a Rhode Island commission that had threatened to refer distributors to police if they sold books deemed to be obscene. Quote, the Supreme Court held that such informal censorship was unconstitutional. And that's what they used to support this decision. Informal censorship. What's the left doing to us? Informal censorship.
Endlessly, daily. Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to enjoy this victory because this is one of the best. When you get a 9-0 decision from the Supreme Court with anything related to firearms, that just highlights how bad these goofballs are screwing up.
Oh, yeah.
They are destroying themselves. And look,
beautiful.
The Supreme Court justices are people, right? They remember things like this. So when they're ruling on future Second Amendment cases, they're going to be pretty perturbed with these leftist lunatics that keep making these asinine arguments. And like, come on, people, do we really have to educate you again?
Again.
When you anger a judge, it's not generally a good thing if you got to keep going before that judge. And I think that's what they've done here. Like, you're wasting our time and you're idiots.
Well, but again, so last thing I'll put out here. What have we been talking about on this channel consistently for at least the last year? The frequency at which gun cases or gun adjacent cases are showing up at the Supreme Court is unprecedented.
Yeah. I mean, if they took one firearms related case a decade, that was significant. Now we're seeing them on the daily and we're getting decisions like this. So that puts it into perspective, just how screwed up these people are.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. It shows you how far out in left field they are because the SCOTUS is taking more and more and more cases and dealing more and more backhands across the board. You love to see it.
Anyway, so enjoy this victory, folks. This is one for the history books. Thanks for watching Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.